At first, it was really about the coming of an empire. All the human kingdoms on the Icerian continent united under a single crown and a single religion.
There is only really three types of video game developers in the world. Those with a massive budget, but absolutely no talent at all. Those with both talent and a budget to back it up. And then a third type. A type who has a raw, uncut, unfocused talent and absolutely no budget. The punk rock of video games. Whose low production values only enhance the experience. And the kings of this not quite so indie, not quite so AAA marketplace is either Spiders Interactive, my personal favorite, or Cyanide Studios. And like all good things in the world, both of them are French, and both of them have been making really low-budget games with high ambition for about a decade now, and they've been pulling it off with way more competency than should be fucking possible. And when I say low budget, I don't mean like Kickstarter cash or some kid's personal college fund. It's actually somewhere in the middle. A couple $100,000, maybe $1 million for the entire game. That type of budget for AAA studios wouldn't even be suitable for a level, let alone an entire game. Let alone a game with as deep gameplay mechanics and fully realized worlds as the ones Cyanide and Spiders create. They have been doing the impossible with fucking bubblegum and pocket length. And this is where the raw talent comes in. Both have managed to make better RPGs and stealth games than their AAA counterparts, with more character building and narrative choice and deeper stealth than anything else in the market. And today's subject is going to be a game where actually both of them worked together. And that game is called Of Orcs and Men. Clearly taking its name from a shitty book only boomer high school English teachers like, but don't be deceived. Of Orcs and Men isn't about a big retard who possibly rapes and kills a girl before being mercy killed by his best friend in the 1930s. No, Of Orcs and Men is about a stabby little goblin named Styx and a big orc fighter named Archyle. At least I think it's pronounced Archyle. People call him Archai in the game, but there's an L. Is it the French being bad at English? I don't know.
The Inquisition tramples our beliefs and denies our existence. They want to wipe my people off the face of the world.
Set in a world where the less colored races have agreed, mainly thanks to the human emperor, to genocide the less cultured but more green races, namely the warlike and tribalistic orcs and the feral and intelligent goblins. With Styx being the only goblin with any form of sentient intelligence and a love of swearing and killing people for money.
Do that, the entire place will be all over our asses.
You're scared.
Yeah, I'm shaking like a leaf. Seriously, what did I tell you before? You gotta be discreet, like subtle. You can't just go wading in like a pig that sees a pile of shit.
Styx and Archyle, along with some human partisans, have agreed to team up on a suicide mission to kill the human emperor. With the human emperor dead, that might cause the coalition of human dwarves and elves to fall apart, thus ending the decades-long enslavement and ethnic cleansing of the orcs and goblins. The vast majority of the game is about Styx and Archyle trying to get to the human emperor. The original plan starts to deteriorate pretty early on, and they have to start making underhanded deals and adjusting the plan in order to get close to the emperor. And that's kind of the fun. You know what they're planning on doing, but certain roadblocks or pits in the road screw with the narrative and sends them off to do side missions for like underworld gangsters in order to get past a giant wall, for example.
You're about to lose it, buddy. Not good for business.
If that chapel burns, the Inquisition will recall its hounds. I get control back, and I get you across the wall.
So, you need some kind of diversion.
Punishment. The disciples of the Grand Inquisitor are quartered in the chapel. That scumbag kills my children. I kill his. I want to hear him wailing over the corpses of his disciples. That's what I want!
There's something seriously wrong with this guy. Let's go.
We got no choice.
The story is well told with decent setup and payoff, with some fun plot twists along the way. The big moments hit pretty hard, like way harder than you'd ever imagine just by looking at the game. It isn't Shakespeare in the Park, but the voice acting, especially on Styx and Argyle, is way better than you'd ever expect, with everyone else in the cast turning in a passable to okay performance. The moment-to-moment dialogue isn't exactly period accurate, but it's fun and snappy, and there's a lot of swearing, mainly from Styx.
Himself an orc and he dares talk to me.
I don't give a shit if that idiot insulted you. I told you to keep a lid on it for a reason. Only an orc would recognize your mark. But you had to let him get to you. And to top it off, you let him see your fucking tattoo.
And really, Styx and Argyle are the main draw. Watching both of them go from hating each other to not really trusting one another to something close to a friendship. It's touching watching these two guys form a bromance.
Aww, play me another sad song and I'll cry on your shoulder.
You talk too much, Rakash. I warned you.
Just how far Spiders and Cyanide managed to stretch their already meager budget is impressive, to say the least. The game, while not being much of a looker even back when it released a decade ago, has a delightful low-budget charm to it all. Like how when it rains in the game, the wet texture applies to everything, regardless if it makes sense or not. Spiders and Cyanide clearly had to choose what to spend their money on, and the choice to forego graphical fidelity was a wise one in my opinion. The money they saved on making the game look like a PS2 game was spent on side quests, upgradable gear that actually shows on the in-game models, full voice acting, a surprisingly good amount of honest-to-goodness fucking role-playing, stats, skills, that all make a tangible difference in combat. The combat itself sees you taking control of either Argyle or Styx. You can switch between them at any time, with Argyle being a big tanky motherfucker who can give and take a massive beating. The roguish Styx, meanwhile, uses ranged attacks and debuffs to weaken and waylay enemies so Argyle can rearrange their fucking organs. You can queue up several actions in combat, and you can delete them and reissue them as you see fit, but whatever action Argyle and Styx are in the middle of taking, they have to complete, and it can take several seconds to fully finish that action. And those several seconds can mean life or death, with some fights balanced on a knife's fucking edge, from being either challenging to ball-crushingly hard. And it's a testament to the sheer uncut talent of both Spiders and Cyanide that the combat can be as tough as it is without ever feeling unfair. The combat is infinitely more cerebral and strategic than 90% of RPGs released in the past 15 years. As mentioned before, the skill and stat leveling system are excellent. They really change around what some skills do and how you approach fights. This, coupled with the varied enemy types, all with their own unique challenges and methods of defeating them, makes for a very satisfying and rewarding combat system. It's similar to Dragon Age Origins, but I'd argue it's properly balanced. Add in a healthy handful of optional side quests, a couple with different outcomes, and you already have more of an actual video game than Final Fantasy XIII. Trust me, it may not be pretty to watch, but it's satisfying as all hell. The game makes you feel like you're a raging, bloodthirsty orc, or a sly, stealthy assassin. They even went so far as to give Styx a stealth ability, so he can scout out fights and maybe pick off key targets before Argyle turns everyone into a bloody smear. The fact that both Spiders and Cyanide chose to spend their already meager development resources to implement, debug, and playtest an admittedly broken stealth system just shows why they deserve all your money. They chose to waste money not on the graphics or some other bullshit marketing buzzword crap. They chose to implement a stealth system, no matter how bare bones, because of what it did for the game. And what it does for the game is immeasurable. All of a sudden, there's a whole new tactical layer to the game, while still reinforcing the differences between Styx and Argyle. One's an assassin, one's a giant raging barbarian. But it's a double-edged sword. Styx can get caught while he's sneaking around, far away from Argyle, so then the game becomes trying to keep Styx alive so you can get Argyle there to murder everyone. It makes you feel that Styx and Argyle are a team, and that they cannot kill the Emperor without each other. It just goes to show how the addition of a single mechanic can add so much to a game. You remember mechanics, right? It's the thing Ubisoft and EA strip out of their games in order to sell it to normies and children. But sadly, Spiders and Cyanide would not team up on future titles. Spiders would go off to prove that they were the ones behind the RPG aspects of the game, with their own slightly higher budget but no less excellent fare. And Cyanide taking Styx and giving him 2 of his own stealth-focused prequel games explaining why he's a goblin with intelligence and loves to swear and kill people for money. And I'm serious, those 2 games are phenomenal. Some of the best stealth games of the past decade, though that's not really a high bar, seeing how they don't make stealth games anymore. Spiders' newest game is Greedfall. It's fantastic. It came out a few years ago. It's not perfect, it's still low budget, but it's a great fucking time if you like RPG games. And it's one of the few games where you can play a religious zealot and kill the non-believers for fantasy god. It's a great time.
Renounce your gods!
So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I managed to cobble this one together in between playing Elden Ring for hours and hours on end. And there's probably going to be a video up next about Elden Ring. I have a lot of hot takes about it, and it's the new hotness, so why the fuck not? The Dragon's Dogma video is slowly morphing into something else. That might go on the back burner again. It's really changing into quite the beast. I really should stop talking about it and hope you all forget. All 5 of you beautiful bastards who have subscribed. So again, if you liked it, please share. I'm gonna try focusing on YouTube more or less, not full time, but really give it the good amount of my free time in between Elden Ring to really see where this goes. I like making them. They're fun. I hope you guys like watching them. Goodbye, boys. I will see you when I see you.